Hello, my yarny friends. I'm Sara Sach. Welcome back to my crochet channel. Now today we're going to be starting our 2025 year-long crochet along, and I'm very excited about it. We're going to be making a wall hanging with a graph in it that says home, and then we're going to be making a magnet that can go on the refrigerator, or you can put it in the O each month on your wall hanging. You can also make this as a pillow, and I'll be showing you how to do that in the next couple of days. Today's video, we're going to work the bottom portion and the graph. All right? It's not hard. It's a very simple graph, and I walk you through the first couple of rows very easily and simply, and I think you're really going to enjoy this. If you've never worked a graph before, this is a great place to start because it is a very simple graph, and it's also a lot of fun. Now, I chose home as my word for 2025, and so it was just fitting that we make a graph that we can hang up or put on a pillow that says home. You can make it as a pillow and use these as appliques. And there's going to be one each month of our magnets. Now this one is for January, and I'm going to show you how to do that on our Friday Fun Day. All right, so the way this is going to work is today we're going to work up through here. We're going to do the bottom portion and the graph. All right, and then on Wednesday, we're going to finish the top portion. And then I'm going to show you how to make it either into a pillow or a hanging, and talk about how to attach it to a rod or how to make it into a pillow. I'm going to be making one of each, and so I'll be walking you through all of that. And then on Friday, we're going to make this cute little coffee cup or mug or teacup, cocoa cup on Friday for our Friday Fun Day, and also show you how you can use it and make it as a magnet. Okay, now the first thing that you need to do before we get started is you need to go to that link that I have provided underneath this video to my Ravelry shop and get this graph. It is a free graph. It's a free download. You can see I've already been writing on it. But it is a free download with the complete pattern that we're doing for the hanging. And of course, on Friday, those magnets are also going to be free downloads on Ravelry, okay? But you're going to need this graph in order to work this graph, okay? And like I said, it is a free Ravelry download. Just click that link and you can download it on your computer. If you don't want to go to Ravelry, I also have it on the blog link. And as always, I'll put that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. You can get it from there and you can copy and paste it, okay? Unfortunately, that graph on the blog is going to be a little bit smaller. But if you take it and put it in, you know, a Word document, you can make it bigger. But the one on Ravelry is nice and big for you to follow. So what you're going to need is the graph. Now the first thing you need to do is to go over to my Ravelry, use the link that I have provided underneath this video. You click that Ravelry link, it will take you right there, and this is a free Ravelry download, and you can print off the graph because we're going to be using this graph. It has all the numbers on it, and it's a very simple graph. Now we're going to be making a long one, but the graph is going to go right in the center of our wall hanging. You can also make this as a pillow if you want to. Once it's done, you can put the ends together and then sew the ends down. And I'll tell you all about that as well. Okay, so the first thing you need is the graph. All right, and then what you need for materials is you're going to need a medium weight number 4 yarn. And I used this. It's Premier Just Yarn worsted value in ombre because we're going to be doing the whole portion except for the white part in this blue. Now, I chose the blue just because I think it's a good basic color, and I also really liked the ombre because this particular ombre yarn, as you can see, is that it has a little bit shorter sections of color changes, and they're not abrupt color changes. They just sort of blend in to the next color. All right, and you're going to need about 6 ounces. I'm sorry, I said 4. 6 ounces of your background color. And again, use whatever matches your house or wherever you're going to be hanging it. And then we're going to use this white for our home, the word home. And you're going to need about 4 ounces of whatever color you want to use. You can use black or beige or red or whatever color that you want to, whatever matches what you want to do. So 6 ounces of your background color, 4 ounces of your home color, all medium weight number 4 acrylic yarns. All right. And that is for the hanger itself. What colors you choose for your magnets will be done each month. Okay. We're going to be stitching with our 5mm H hook. You need a needle for weaving in ends and a pair of scissors. Now, if you're going to make it into a hanger, you're going to need some sort of a hanger. And I had this on hand. This is just a basic rod that you can buy. I believe they were $3.97 or $4.97. Not even $5, I don't think. This is an 18-inch rod. And once we get it done, we're going to stitch around that rod to hang up our wall hanging. Okay? Now, some other options are you can purchase a really pretty hanger that has the long wire that's 18 inches. You can use a dowel rod. You could also use a bamboo rod, anything you want. You could even go out into your yard. This time of year, all the trees are bare, so you could find a really nice stick that would look really nice. And I have done that in the past, just gone out and gotten some sticks and used them. And they look really pretty, okay? But I just wanted to use this one. I liked it. And I had it on hand from a previous curtain project. So you just need to make sure you get an 18-inch one because that's how wide this will be once we get the trim put on it. And it'll fit nicely so that we can put a hanger on it and hang it up. Today we're going to be doing what I'm calling step 1. We're going to do the bottom section. Then we're going to get started on the home graph. And that's why it's important for you to go get that free pattern because I'm going to start you on the graph and then you're going to need to complete it. It's really easy. I'm going to explain to you how to change colors, how to carry your colors and stitch over them on this particular section. All right. We're going to do that today. And then on Wednesday, we're going to do step 2. We'll finish the top, and then I'll show you how to attach it to your rod, as well as put a nice simple trim around the edge. All right? All right, so let's get started with step 1 today, and then Wednesday we'll finish up with step 2. All right. We're going to be starting at the bottom like I showed you. So we're going to need to do our slip knot, and we're going to chain 50 chains. And I'd like you to remember to stitch this beginning chain just a little bit loose, because if you stitch it too tightly, the bottom of your hanger, whether you're making it into a hanger or a pillow, will squinch up and may not meet up nicely and may not hang pretty. All right, so we're going to stitch 50 chains, and we're going to stitch these 50 chains just a little bit loose. So I have chained 50 chains just a little bit loose. What we're going to do is we're going to start by stitching a double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're going to stitch 1 double crochet in each of our chains, working all the way across. So we're stitching 1 double crochet in each of our chains, working all the way across our chain. We began in the 4th chain from the hook, and we stitched a double crochet in each of our stitches all the way across. We do count this chain 3 at the beginning as our first stitch, and so we have 48 double crochets. All right, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And on row 2, we're going to go right in that first double crochet and stitch a single crochet. And we're going to stitch 1 single crochet in each of our double crochets, working all the way across. When we chain 1 and turn, the chain 1 does not count as a stitch. And so we start right in that first double crochet. So we're going to stitch 1 single crochet in each of the double crochets, working all the way across our row. So we started in that very first stitch because our chain 1 does not count as a stitch, and we placed a single crochet in each of our double crochets across. So we have 48 single crochets. All right, so now we're going to chain 3. We're going to turn our work, and our chain 3 does count as a stitch. It counts as our first double crochet because we're going to stitch 1 double crochet in each of our single crochets across. And since that chain 3 counts as our first double crochet, we don't stitch in that first one. We start in the next single crochet and stitch 1 double crochet in each of our single crochets, working all the way across our row. So we're stitching for row 3, 1 double crochet in each of our single crochets, going all the way across. I have completed row 3. I have 48 double crochets, and remember our chain 3 counts as our first double crochet, and we begin in the second single crochet and stitch 1 in each stitch all the way across for 48 double crochets. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn, and again we're going to stitch our single crochet row. So we start in that first double crochet and we just stitch 1 single crochet in each of our double crochets across. And so what we're going to be doing is alternating a row of double crochet and a row of single crochets until we're ready to put our graph in. All right, so for row 4, we're stitching 1 single crochet in each of our double crochets all the way across. So you can see I have completed row 4. Again, we stitched 1 single crochet in each of our double crochets across. So again, we have 48 single crochets. And then we chained 3. And so what you're going to do is you're going to continue to repeat row 3, which is our double crochet row, and row 4, our single crochet, for 8 more rows, alternating the double crochet and single crochet for 8 more rows. All right, so just to repeat, we're repeating row 3 and row 4 for 8 more rows, alternating every other row. So I have stitched those additional 8 rows, alternating my double crochet row and my single crochet row. And you're going to need to end on a single crochet row for your 12th row. Now this is where we're going to be inserting our graph. You will notice on the graph there are 48 boxes. Each box represents a single crochet. So for this section here, these 15 rows, we're going to be only stitching single crochets. We won't be alternating like we did here. Once we complete the graph on the top portion, we'll go back to alternating our rows. And so we'll be stitching 48 single crochets across, and we're going to do this for 15 rows. Again, each box represents one single crochet. Now as we look at the graph, we'll notice that the first 2 rows, we're going to stitch a solid row of single crochet. So we're going to keep with our main color, and we're going to stitch 2 rows of single crochet. Okay? Now, when you read a graph, we're going to be working from the bottom up, and we're going to start here, and we'll stitch this way, and then we'll turn our work and stitch back this way. Okay? And what I like to do when I'm working a graph is I like to mark it. So what I'll do is I'll stitch 1 row of single crochet, and then I'll mark it, and I'll mark it on this end. And then when I stitch the next row of single crochet, I'll mark it over here. And as we move up, I'll put a mark next to each of those numbers. All right, so let's do our first row of our graph, stitching 1 single crochet in each stitch across. We're going to stitch a single crochet in that first stitch. Tighten that loop up a little bit. There we go. And then we'll just stitch 1 single crochet in each of our single crochets all the way across. And again, this is our first row on our graph. But don't worry, when we get into the color changes, I'll show you how to do that. All right, so I'm just going to stitch 1 single crochet in each of my single crochets all the way across. So we stitched 1 single crochet in each of our single crochets across and chain 1. All right, so I'm going to take my graph and I'm going to make a little mark. I like to circle it and then make a line. I don't know why, but that's what I like to do. So I've circled it and made a little line. That tells me I have worked row 1. Now, a friend of mine, she takes a pencil and draws all the way across that line. That works also. However, it helps you to mark your graph. So now what we're going to do is we're going to be over here. We're going to turn our work. And we're actually working on the back side. Of course, you can't do that here. So you're going to be working row 2, 1 single crochet, and each of those single crochets across. All right, so row 2 is just 1 single crochet in each of those single crochets across. And that's the way that you read a graph. You're going back and forth. We're going to be working on the front and on the back of our work. And I know it seems just a little bit complicated at first, but once you get going and you keep that graph near you and you mark it as you go, it's really not hard. All right, so I'm stitching 1 single crochet in each of my single crochets all the way across this row. So now I have completed that second row of just 1 single crochet in each, and so I'm going to circle that number 2 there and draw a line. Okay, so now we've completed these 2 rows, and we're going to turn it and be back on the front side of our work. It's very important, and I'll show you how you can tell the front from the back. Of course, you'll tell the front from the back if your letters are facing the right direction, but also it'll help you as you go. All right, so now what we're going to do is row 3, and this is where we're going to start our letters. All right, so I've got my white yarn here already, and you can see we have one block in our blue, and then these blocks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 will be white, and then we'll switch to blue. Let's do this portion next, okay? So we have our blue. We're going to begin our single crochet in that first stitch, and then we're going to change to white. So we'll grab our white and pull that in, okay? We're not going to cut our blue yarn. We're going to drop that tail of yarn there. And so we need to stitch, how many did we say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of our white color, or color 2. And we're going to stitch over that blue yarn. So we'll go in and stitch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now on our 8th stitch, we're going to be changing back to our blue because we're going to do 3 stitches in blue. All right, so we'll go to our 8th stitch, pull up our loop, grab our blue yarn, pull that through, and we're not going to cut our white yarn. We're going to stitch over it, and this is just in these sections where we're changing colors to form our letters. All right, so now we're going to stitch 3 in the blue. So 1, 2, 3, and then again we're going to change back to our white. All right, let's look at our graph. We did 1 in the blue, we did 8 in the white, and 3 in the blue. Now this section is going to be a little more tricky because we need to do 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. All right, so we'll do 1, 2, and on that third one we're going to change to the blue, but we only need 1 in the blue, so we're going to just stitch the 1, change back to our white, and do 3 in white. And on that third one we're going to change to the blue and do 1 in blue, and then change back to the white. And what we're doing is when we're doing our last stitch in this color or whatever color we're using, before we stitch that next one, we bring in the new color. All right, so now we're going to stitch 3 in the white again. So 1, 2, 3. Now we'll bring in our blue. Okay, let's take a look at what we've done here. Here's our 3 blue, 3 white, 1 in between of the blue. So we have these 3 sections of 3 white ones. So now we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in white. All right, or I'm sorry, in blue. 5 in our blue color. All right, so 1, 2, 3, more yarn out here, 4, and 5. Here's my 5th one. So I'm going to change to my color 2 or the white. Here's our 5. And now we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in our white. which is actually black on the chart. And then we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the white, in the blue. So we're going to do 5 in the white and 5 in the blue. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to change to our blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and change to our white. All right, let's look at our chart again. This is what we did. 5 blue, 5 white, 5 blue. 5 blue, 5 white, 5 blue. Now we just have our H to do, because this over here was our E, this is from our M, this is from our O, and this is from our H. All right, so we need to do 3 white, 3 blue, 3 white, and end with 1. All right. One, 2, 3, change to our blue. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, change to our white. Some more yarn out here. 1, 2, 3, and then our last stitch is with our blue. We're going to drop our white behind and just stitch our blue. And then we'll go ahead and chain 1. All right, and that is row 3 on the graph. 1, 8, 3. Then we did 3 and 1, 3 and 1, 3 and 5, 5 and 5, 3, 3, 3, and 1. All right, and that is row 3 on our graph. So we went across this way on our graph. So I'll put a circle and a line. And now we're going to be working on the back side of our work, and we're going to come back through here. This is where, if you want to draw lines, that will help you keep track of what line you are on. Now, before we do the next row, I want to show you how it looks in comparison to our graph. All right, so here's our 1 blue one, our 8 in white, and then our 3 in blue, 3 with the 1 in between, 5, and then here's our 5 for the bottom of our O, and then the 5 here, and then we have our H, which is 3, 3, 3, and 1. And again, we went that way on our graph. So now we've chained 1, and we're going to turn our work over. And we're going to be working on the back of our work. And we're going to be going back the opposite direction, so everything's going to be in reverse. Okay? Now, the way to tell the difference until we get farther on, which is your front and your back, is what side your tail's on. And that will help you keep from getting confused. And this is the tail of yarn where we brought in our white. Okay? Another thing is, when you're doing a graph like this and you're switching colors, you may have to unwind your yarn every now and then, because it will get a little bit wound up, and that can be very frustrating. And so I'll just take one of them and unwind it. Okay? And I'll do this after each row. All right, now you can see that we're going to be working on the back of our work. We dropped our white here, but we'll be picking it back up. All right, and so sometimes it helps if when you're coming back the other direction, we're going to be doing row 4, to draw an arrow to tell you which way to go so that you remember as you're going. And you can also mark it as you go. A highlighter probably works best. I like to use red pens. All right, so even though we're coming back here, we're working this way on the graph. All right, so again, I'm on the back side of my work and I'm working this direction. So I have that one in blue, so I'll go ahead and start the one in blue, and remember to pull your yarn to the back when you're on the back. And we're going to bring in our white, and we're going to be stitching over our blue. All right, so we'll go and stitch 3 white ones. 1, 2, 3. We're going to change to our blue. Because we did these 3, we're going to do 3 blue and then 3 white. And I'm trying to take this slow so that you understand how to read a graph. Because even though this is an easy graph, if you've never done it before, it can be confusing when you're going, you know, back and forth 2 different directions. Oops, get my yarn out of the way there. All right, so I'm going to do those 3 white ones, or 3 color 2. And bring back in my blue. All right, so what we've done is this right here. All right, and now we need to do 1, 2, 3, 4 in the white. So I'm going to draw a line there. 4 in the blue. I said white. I keep saying it backwards, don't I? I'm really sorry about that. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and change to our white or color 2. And that means we need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let me make sure that's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because that's what this is right here, is 7. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and we'll change to our blue. And see, we've got 1 extra on those 2 ends because we did 5 and then now we're doing 7. All right, so here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 of the blue. One, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and that brings us right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is going to be the same. It's going to be 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. All right, so we'll bring in our white. One, 2, 3. We'll bring in our blue and do 1. And then bring our white back in. And do 3. 1, 2, 3. Change to our blue and do 1. And then change back to our white and do 3 single crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Go ahead and bring that white back in. So now we've done these, and we can mark that with a line. And then we need to do 1, 2, 3 in our blue. 1, 2. Getting twisty again, aren't I? Alrighty. Now we'll change back to our white. And that's here. And this is 8 across here. And there's the 3 that we did. So we're going to do 8 and 1. Alrighty. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We'll change to the blue. Bring your white to the back, because this is the back of our work we're working right now. And do 1 single crochet and chain 1. So this is the back. All right, let's turn it over. And now we can see, here's our H, our O, our M, and our E. All right? And we're coming along nicely. So now we're going to be working on the front of our work again. All right, so we're going to be doing row 5, which is right here. All right, so we'll start here because we're on the front side of our work. And remember, make sure you pull those white strings to the back so they stay on the back side of your work. And so on row 5, we're again going to stitch 8 single crochets in our white and then 3 in our blue. Okay? We've already started with that first one there in the blue. We changed to white. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And we're going to change our color and stitch those 3 single crochets in our color 1. All right. So we've done 1, we've done 8, and we've done those 3. All right, so we've stitched these 3 blue ones. We changed to our white, and we're going to do the 3, 1, 3, 1, 3 across here. One, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, and then 1, 2, 3, and change back to our blue. Okay, so now we only have 3 to do here. One, 2, 3, and we change to our white. And see here we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we're going to have 9. All right, because that's the shape of our O. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Change to our blue, and that brings us here. So then we have 3, 3, 3, and 1. All right, so 3 in the blue, 1, 2, 3, change to our white, 3 in the white. Almost time for a unwind of the yarn. It happens when you're changing colors a lot. All right, and then 1, 2, 3, drop your white and stitch that last stitch in our color 1, and we'll go ahead and chain 1. All right, so you can see how it's coming along. We've got the 3 rows of our E, and then we have the blue in here, and then the bottom of our M, and you can see how the O is widening out a little bit here. All right, and then we finished our H, so we'll draw a line across there. And now we're going to put an arrow because we're going to go that direction on the back side of our work. So we've chained 1, we're going to turn our work. And remember, we're on the back side of our work. Here's our tail of yarn over here. So you know you're on the back side. Plus our letters are backwards now. All right, and so we're doing row 6, but we're coming back this direction. All right, so we're going to start over here with our 1 blue. And we'll drop that blue that way and pick up our white. All right, so then again, we've got 3, 3, 3, and 3. All right, so we'll stitch 3 white ones. 1, 2, 3. We'll bring in our blue. Then we'll bring in our white. And then we'll bring in our 3. 1, 2, 3, and then we'll bring in our white. So what we've done here is this, only on the other side. All right, so let's go ahead and mark that. We've done this to here. All right, now our O is going to change a little bit because we've got an open section in there. So we're going to do 3, 3, 3, and 3. All right, so 3 white ones. Let's pull that blue a little bit. There we go. 1, 2, 3. We'll change to our blue because we're doing the opening in our O now. Then we'll change back to the white. One, 2, 3. Then we'll change back to our blue. 1, 2, 3. All right, and you can see how that O is looking. And we'll go ahead and mark that across to there. And then we'll start on our M. And so our M is the same, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, and 3. All right, so we'll just do that exactly how we've been doing that for now. So 1, 2, oops, get back on there. 3, change to our blue. Then change back to our white. 1, 2, 3. Change to our blue and stitch 1. There we go. And then we'll stitch 3 white ones. 1, 2, 3. And then stitch 3 of the blue, and that will bring us to our E. Okay, we'll go ahead and, there we go, switch to the white. So you can see there is our M, so we can mark that. And to me, the best way to not lose count and not lose your place is to mark it. All right, so now we're going to only do 3 this time instead of 8. So we'll do 3, and then we'll finish off with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of our blue. One, 2, 3. Now go ahead and drop that white, but make sure you bring it to the back side. Okay, and if you're ever in doubt, like I said, just look for where you joined your white and your tail will be on the back side. All right, so we'll just pull that to the back, and then we'll just stitch those last stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, and chain 1. All right, so that's how it looks on the back. Let's turn it over so we can see the front. And you can see, you can already begin to see H-O-M-E. All right, so we've completed row 6. All right, now you need to do these last rows on your own now that you know how to do the graph. And that's your homework. Yes, I'm a teacher. I like to give homework. All right, so complete these last rows, 7 through 15. And actually the last 2 rows are solid single crochets. So that only leaves you 7 rows to do with the graph. And just remember, mark your graph as you go. Take your time. When you're pulling your yarns through, pull it just a little bit. Yes, you'll see a little bit of blue through. And if you're doing this on a pillow, you can always just let those yarns hang in the back. But to me, I like to stitch over them, and that again is just a preference. All right, so on Wednesday, we're going to begin after the graph. So make sure you get up to the graph done by Wednesday. Okay? Now, if you don't get it done, it's okay. These videos will always be there for you to do.